Okay.
And we're live, 18 plus show. Beware of cursing. There you go. There's your warning, kids. Uh,
Yay, warnings.
so I decided to name this the GM discussion because out of the four people that we have right now, there might be a fifth person, but I haven't decided if he's going to join or not. But we'll pretty much me and Shay will be doing the duties of running games.
If anyone is curious as to why Game Master J, as he is known amongst his friends, has both earbuds and a headset on at the same time, it's because we cannot, because there are forces at work, powerful forces. We cannot go a single time without incredible technical difficulties, and he requires all of that on his face to communicate with me. Because God hates us. And that's why. We got on, I believe it's 7:40, and proceeded to weep for 45 minutes, as nothing we did changed anything. I could see him, but he couldn't see me. I could hear him, but he couldn't hear me. And then he fixed it, but then it changed, and we just flip flopped, and then we both got off and cried and punched a pillow, and then we got back on again, and it still didn't work, and then we restarted our computers, and then we considered just killing ourselves. But eventually, we fought through the pain, and with a bit of ingenuity, duct tape, and many, many tears, we managed to cobble together this. Yeah, so that's why he looks the way he does.
That and I was born this way.
Yes, that's why his face is the way. He didn't change his face for the podcast. He didn't have to change that even remotely.
Actually, I did. My lovely wife, before when I got to, she decided that she was going to put makeup on my face.
Oh,
without
right,
without asking me. You were kind of already on your way to putting it on my face, and then okay, I let her put makeup on my face.
Oh, huh, all right.
It made her happy.
Well, that's good. As long as it makes her happy.
I feel pretty.
You look pretty.
Oh, thank you. I'm still just so sad about the whole this, whatever this is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm beginning to wonder if every single time we attempt to do this, the amount of technology required is going to increase. Because at one point in time,
I'm imagining I'm gonna have this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll have this, and then also just be sitting there, also just like this going on as well.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, one of these should be needed, so it's just gonna look weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because I already have earbuds. I mean, what's the point of these? And if I have another microphone, then I really just don't even need these.
All right, so I'm covered in dice.
Jesus.
What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, screw it. Let's talk about what the future holds in store. I mean, as everybody knows, we're going to be doing Dungeons and Dragons first, kind of keeping it,
Old school, stream. Old school?
Old school, mainstream, since most people who, game usually are just straight up D&D gamers. They're not really...
Yeah. It is the world's greatest role-playing game, according to their website.
I can agree with that.
It's pretty
But
good.
Yeah, we'll be doing... It is.
Mm-hmm.
Not for 4th edition, but we won't discuss 4th edition. This is a no 4th edition game stream. I really can't see your face. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Actually, you know what? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about fourth edition. So, Shay, what are your thoughts on fourth edition?
Uh,
Also,
I
what
like.
one sec.
Mhm.
If anyone wants to talk, I do have the live chat open. So, yeah, if you want to weigh in, all right, you can go. I'm sorry,
Uh,
just wanted to mention that.
There were things I liked about fourth edition because I used to play. Jesus Christ! I started at third edition, and then I went to 3.5 and played 3.5 for several years. And then when fourth edition came out, it was in a lot of ways simpler. It was easier to hop into, and you didn't have 100 billion splat books, at least in the beginning, and so that was good. They quickly changed that by introducing 100 million splat books, and then it became ridiculous. And every time I would try and create something, I would like, there are too many options, and I would freak out and cry. Um, and I didn't care that just about every single class became sort of a pseudo wizard. Uh, at first level, it wasn't so obvious, but once you got to really sixth or seventh or higher, everyone got spells essentially, and so everyone became sort of a pseudo wizard, and it didn't feel like there's a lot of difference between the classes. That I didn't care for that. So fifth edition currently is I think doing things right, and that it's a lot more streamlined, but they've done it in such a way that most of the classes feel unique and that there's a point to playing them, and that's what I like about fifth edition. I do wish they would put out just a bit more in the way of books, something akin to a player's handbook 2, or if they were to release all their unearthed arcana into a book. I would enjoy that, but for the
I
most part, I like fifth edition. I'm playing it for a little while now, and yeah, so far it's working out.
see. I would love it if they would do the Unearthed Arcana. That way, I can be a. That way, Jesus. That way, I could have the. Oh, they released a new one for the Ranger. I think it was Underdark Stalker or something like that.
Yes, fighting in tunnels. You didn't receive all the
Yeah,
negatives
fighter.
for firing into melee combat, and you had a bunch of dark vision stuff. Uh, I didn't read over it in depth because, as a general rule, I don't play rangers. I know you love them more than anything in the world, more than your own child. Um, but
Oh well, not that much.
didn't you name your child after a ranger?
No, I did not. My wife would not let me name him that.
Okay,
So if my wife had let me named him that, uh, hmm.
shows what the fuck I know. Been friends for God knows how long. I don't even know what your child's name is. Hell, I don't even know if you have a child now that I think about it. Like, could just be a tiny person I see occasionally running around in your house.
Yeah, he tries to run me over in his little car.
Oh, that's adorable. It is currently when he's an adult and he tries to run you over in his Range Rover. That would be adorable. But so yeah, I think fifth edition right now is fairly good. I've seen some of the Unearthed Arcana stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
So back to that. Uh, I would love it if they would release it as a book. That way I can say, look, they made a book. That way I can use this because I have the guy that I play with right now, and already I'm not going to be mean live on air for the world to see. I will just say I'm not happy, and like I hate basic fifth edition Ranger, like, and that's coming from somebody who would
so does
only
everyone.
play a Ranger, but he does not allow Unearthed Arcana in his game.
Mhm. If you look at the Unearthed Arcana in on their website, I think is where all of it is. At the beginning of their first new Ranger type, it literally says Ranger is the least played character as far as we can tell. You know, I don't know how they know. They send out surveys or something, but they're like, nobody likes playing the ranger. Apparently, it's horrible, and we don't want any of our classes to feel horrible. That's why we're doing this change. And there are 3 or 4 types of ranger in the Unearthed Arcana because they're trying to get the ranger right. Because apparently, it's an underwhelming class currently. I haven't really fiddled with the 5th edition ranger. So I don't know exactly what it's lacking, but on their website, the D&D website, they will tell you yeah, Ranger, not great. We're trying to fix it. And so, because they're trying things out, and a lot of that stuff has only been lightly play tested, some of it could be broken or underpowered. But if they play tested it really heavy enough that they would put it into a book, sort of just get the stuff from Unearthed Arcana that works and put it into a book. I think that would open up a lot of options. And I like a lot of options. I don't care for how many there were in 3.5 towards the end or 4 towards the end, because you could be a vampire, cyborg, wizard, ninja chef by the end of 4th edition, and it was why, dear God, why? And it just became a mess. But I do like a little bit of options, and so I think right now the only thing keeping the 5th edition for me from being just really really perfect, really in the sweet spot. There's just not quite enough options yet, but I think just a book or 2 possibly, and I think D&D in 5th edition would work out just fine. But yeah, for the most part, I like the rules. I like that it's simplified, but I don't feel that it's too simple, and every class feels unique, and so I'm glad we're doing 5th edition as opposed to 4th.
I will say the one thing that I loved about 4th edition was the ungodly amount of weapon damage that you could do.
Yeah.
Ooh, use hail of death with arrows, do 10 weapon damage plus your dex modifier. And of course, when we played, we didn't do the you cap out at 20. So my ranger had by like level 15 like 24 dexterity because I rolled his base stats really really high, and then I just kept ability score improving like just his dex.
Yeah, that was
So
another
like
thing.
I had like
Yeah.
go on.
I was just gonna say that was another thing because they used to. You're right. I've forgotten about that. A lot of these pseudo spells, the sort of traditionally more physical based attackers had, was you do so and so weapon damage. Well, if you were playing something like a Goliath, who could use large weapons, and your natural weapon swing is something like 2d12, and you get to do 10 weapon damage on a daily of some kind, you roll in 20d12 or something like that. They would stack ridiculously. The math worked early on, but by the end of it, it was pretty crazy. Also, the ability to apply conditions was another thing that they wanted to make the fighter classes be a little bit more versatile. So they gave them the ability to do conditions in the same way, really, that a wizard can do. And so when you got at higher levels, everyone, regardless of class, could throw 2 or 3 conditions on a monster. And if they did that, you could, like a 10th level fight, you could throw blind, deaf, dumb, crippled, gassy, vertigo, weak ankles. You could just throw a million different conditions on there, and it would just make the monster so sad. And then you could, on top of that, deal that ridiculous damage.
That's what I loved. I had the shoot an arrow through somebody's like leg and break it or sever it off. I was like, yes, this is Rangers all the way.
Oh, you bloodthirsty ranger! But yeah, so 5th edition isn't quite that. It may get that way. I don't know, but currently there's not quite that level of absurdity that everything still feels solid. With apparently, with the exception of the ranger, currently.
So what I play, yeah, we'll do that. Like what we're playing currently. Actually, are you playing a in a fifth edition game besides the one that we're about to do?
I was up until, I don't know, a month or so ago, and I'm going to start another one here in 2 weeks or so. So I can talk about either one of those.
Oh, okay. I'm actually currently playing a bard, and I call him a dick bard because every spell he has is specifically to be a dick to people.
Yeah, like you do.
And God, I love it. I really do. Like I think bard is now moving up the chain of like best classes that I love to deal with.
I am going to be playing a bard in this upcoming game that I'm going to be in. And I'm choosing an Unearthed Arcana college. I'm choosing College of Whispers because I wanted to do
Yes.
something a little different. Bards, no matter how you make them, suck so hard at first level. Because bards are sort of jack of all trade types. And because you start out really, really weak early on and then you get much better, they're more like a 4 of all trades, which is not a place you want to be. I was looking over the bard that I made, and I was like, I felt really strong about this concept, um, but he can't do anything. Uh, he can play a lute, and no one else in my party can play a lute. But that's right now about the only thing he's bringing to the table. Because bard spells, unless you take the College of Lore at first, or at the first 4 or 5 levels, are not.
College of Lore is what I am.
Yeah, well, College of Lore is smart because you get more spells and you can pull from different spell lists, so they can cast spells from any class, and that's quite smart. I decided to be different and chose College of Whispers, which is the sort of assassination lie intimidation type bard, because I thought it sounded cool, and because we're
Let me
going to be.
sing you the song of my people. I hope your eyes burst from your head. Thank you. And then everybody's dead from you playing your song.
Yeah, no, I'm not quite that level yet, but I can't wait to get to the everybody dies when I play my song level. I think that's 7. I don't know quite yet, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that, obtaining that spell. But yeah, we're going to be playing a
Actually, one sec.
Ravenloft game.
I actually just pulled him up, so I will screen share. Ooh, what's this application window? Oh, I forgot application window sucks. So we'll just share the entire screen. Now you can watch yourself, Shay.
Oh god, oh god, I'm watching literally an infinite number of me's. Oh please stop! I'm getting nauseous. Oh, that's too many me's.
There you
Good
go.
god.
How's that?
That's much better. I can't stand to be with more than one of me.
All right, so I made him. He's actually about to be level 6 next time we play, which will be Saturday. So originally, he was chaotic good, but based on what happened last session, he's changed his alignment. He is now no longer chaotic good. He's now chaotic neutral, and that's at best. Like he may even be evil.
For those of you who are curious about what he's rambling about, his bard got screwed over in his last game, and as such, he feels betrayed by the world, and that's why he's so grumpy lately. And I've had to hear all about it.
I don't have a thumb anymore, Shay. I am missing a thumb. And the Lich Lord not only took my thumb, but he also took my bag of holding just so I could be free.
Yes, I suppose you should give a little bit of information about you can have his soul, which is not something a character can just make happen to another character.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but first, let me show you how awesome bards are, Shay. So this is level 6 College of Lore bard, and as you can see, I roll very well whenever I do my abilities. All right,
Yes,
so
you do.
bardic inspiration. So I go half elf with bards just because I think those are like the coolest bards.
Hmm.
Because I mean, they have like that human, like, oh look, I can grow a beard, but check out my ears. Oh, look at these ears.
These luxurious ears, and I have facial hair. I'm more man than any
You're a
one
beard.
person can handle.
You're a bearded elf. Like, if Legolas had a beard, he would have been like 10 times cooler. I mean, he was already cool, but then he would have been like 10 times cooler.
I, your love of rangers, I feel like, is connected to your love of elves. Um,
I do love
I
elves.
I
I mean,
have
you
no
have
love for the
Drit.
ranger or the elf.
I mean, you have Dritz. You have Aragorn. Uh, well, I mean, uh, you could say maybe Aragorn was like. No, he actually specifically says he's a ranger. So no, there's no denying that Aragorn was a ranger.
Mm-hmm.
I am the
Mm-hmm.
ranger of the north. Like, no, screw you. He was a ranger and he was awesome. And then he becomes king. But anyways, all
I
right,
always
let's see
felt like
here.
the orcs got a bad rap in the Lord of the Rings and in the Hobbit movies. That's all I'm saying. Uh, I mean,
All
like,
right,
we don't
so
know the whole story. All right, we're just getting things from one side. Uh,
all right, so what you can do as a level 6 bard. This video is going to become why you should play a bard and why you should play a bard. All
wow,
right.
that's weird. I literally just felt any and all individuals who were ever possibly going to watch this stream just decide not to. That's weird. I just felt that. Hmm.
All right, Aisha says various World of Darkness stuff. We will get to that later in the stream because I've never played World of Darkness. Pathfinder, I've never played. Call of
I have
Cthulhu, I've only GM'd.
I've played World of Darkness and Pathfinder. I will play Pathfinder. I will never, in this life or any other, DM Pathfinder. Because that is just far too much work. Honestly, I don't even like the idea of making a character in Pathfinder. If someone will make a character for me and I just have to show up and play, I'll play Pathfinder and I'll enjoy Pathfinder. But Pathfinder is horrible when you're trying to create things. It's too much.
I mean, don't they have like 10,000 splat books for it?
Well, not quite that many, but close. That's only there's 9,000. Don't exaggerate it. Uh, but yeah,
Oh, thank you, Aisha.
it's just
I,
absurd.
Aisha commented on the main post on the Invictus stream. Some good geek talk going on for anyone that wants to listen.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
nice lie to say.
well, I think it is good geek talk. I mean, we're geeking out pretty well. Aisha.
Yeah, not everyone wants to. Oh God, there's so many versions of me. Please, no more. God, it's so horrible. Oh God, there was an infinite number of me's. Oh, no, I just got indigestion. That's weird. Mm. I'm just going to look away from the screen while this is happening. I feel like I'm judging myself, and I am judging myself, but I get to judge me. Me doesn't get to judge me. Uh, yeah, so I'm excited for it. I like the building of your own world. I think is going to add some uniqueness to it, obviously. But you're looking forward to playing Call of Cthulhu as well, which is a game I've only played once. I'm fairly certain it was Call of Cthulhu. It could have been one of the many, many, many Cthulhu games that exist out there. And then we don't know quite yet where we want to go from there, but we know, oh dear God, there it is again. Please, no more. But we know it's going to be a Savage Worlds game because I really dig the Savage World stuff. Eric has his heart set on Rippers or possibly Deadlands. I'm okay with Deadlands or possibly the new Savage World Rifts. I'm excited about because I like the idea of playing Rifts, but never having to play a Palladium game. Looking at your bard here, it's a lot of features. Half elves. Bardic inspiration, the bread and butter of bards. What are you doing right now? You just keep coming to the same page. You know what your class features are. I feel like everyone has had plenty of time to see your bard, and most of us are not as impressed as you think we should be. You can speak Common, Elvish, and Draconic. Everyone always... There comes a point where everyone gets to choose a third language, because everyone speaks Common, and typically everyone speaks one other language, with the exception of, I think, humans, but even they, I think, get one more. And you get to choose your third one. It's always a language you will never speak. Like, it'll be like, oh, I'm going to learn deep speech. How often are you going to be communicating with mind flayers and beholders, which are some of the only creatures that can speak deep speech? You like the idea of knowing a badass language, but it rarely ever comes in useful. It's just, oh, I want to speak, the language of fire elementals specifically. And it's like, oh, all right, do you know many fire elementals? Not a one. Okay, where is our campaign set? Ravenloft. Alrighty then, so a lot of fire elementals then. Gonna encounter just a load of those. But we all do it. I do it as well, and I've yet to meet a D&D player who, when given the opportunity to choose that third language, doesn't immediately look in the exotic list and choose what they think the coolest is. It's a curious thing. It's being able to choose two languages in America and choose English and Spanish, because those are ones that are fairly commonplace, and then you get to learn another language and you go, wait, you're like, I want to speak ancient Sumerian. Why? Just, yes, I guess it's neat that you know that, but if you don't get to communicate with anyone, is it neat still? Your heat metal. Show everyone the heat metal. That's why you get paid the big bucks, that heat metal. Firebolt, friends, mage hand, vicious mockery, bone, cure wounds, dissonant whispers, thunderwave, crown of madness, heat metal. For a split second, and this is how dumb I am, I thought you had a first level, second level, and third level spell called Spell that did description. It took me about 2 seconds to realize, no, that's not the case. But I was like, what does the spell do? It inflicts the description condition? What's that? Eric, you've been quiet for quite a long time. Are you ignoring me? Or have I lost audio with you? Are you raging on the other side of the screen right now? Because I can't hear you? Turns out the duct tape and 6 microphones and 2 headbands did not help. We're in a feedback loop, I think. Bruce and Sammy. There we go. What happened? I lost you. I was so scared. Ah, the sound of silence. The most beautiful of all sounds. Oh, oh. I'm just gonna weep for a moment. Nobody mind me. I'll just be in the corner crying. No, I can't hear you. You know how I can't hear you? Because I'm not responding to anything you say. That's how you know that I can't hear you. Hey, I use some of your elven powers to fix the mic. Oh dear God. You know, whenever he loses the ability to speak, I often imagine that he's literally trapped inside my own computer, and that he's begging to be let out. And when I think about that, I don't know, it brings me a certain, what's the word? Elated joy. Yeah, I just that there's a tiny man stuck in my computer begging to be let out, and I can't hear him. Leaning into the microphone, maybe that'll work. Yeah, get right up on it. I'm sure that's some, that's a negatory Ghost Rider. Oh dear. Well, this is what you can expect if you watch our stuff. This is par for the course. This isn't a oh my God, this has never happened before. This is I'm sorry, this has happened every time. If you also, like me, enjoy the idea of having a tiny man trapped in your computer screaming to be let out, then by all means continue to watch. But if that doesn't fill your tiny cold black heart with joy, then I am deeply sorry that you have to watch this clusterfuck of epic proportion. Oh, I can. No one can hear you. No one can hear you. It's the many reasons I love Google Hangout. You can set up pictures on your screen. You can type in Rangers lead the way onto your screen. You can have a title and a subtitle. Sure, you don't get sound. You'll have technical difficulties every single time you use it. It'll make you want to pull your hair out and weep uncontrollably for hours. But 2 titles. Name another place that gives you 2 titles. I mean, not only do we know that he's Game Master J, we also know his real name. Like, that's the kind of stuff you don't get from anywhere else. That's right. Maintain your cool, Eric. Maintain your cool. It's not like we're live or anything. It's that stoic professionalism that I really appreciate from here at No Guts, No Glory. Ice water in his veins. Yep. It's interesting. This has now become less 2 people talking about geek things and more an insight into the human condition. You see, at this moment in time, Eric is in a way separate from all humanity. We're able to see him, but we're unable to interact with him really in any way, shape, or form. And so we're watching a man slowly lose his mind. And that's beautiful, and that's more than I thought we would get. I knew there'd be dick jokes. I knew there would be technical difficulties, but insight into the human condition, I didn't think we'd get. And that's why he is now attempting to wave us around the world into helping him. And if anyone knows where Eric is located, feel free to send the fire department to help him, or an IT guy. He's holding up a microphone. He's confident that this will work. I'm less so. Oh, he's slapping the mic, and we got nothing, Eric. Give us your best Elvis impersonation. If we can't hear you, you might as well look good. I've always thought you had the hair for it. Oh. Oh dear. Rangers lead the way. So how was the 18 plus show? It wasn't so much 18 plus. What they talk about? Well, they talked about bards for a while, and then one of them stopped speaking to anyone. And I think it's an art piece. He just slowly lost his mind while putting on different pieces of technological equipment on his head. I don't know that I would call it 18 plus. Maybe they're saying you have to be mature to understand the sort of art piece that these two guys were doing. Would you see it again? No, probably not. I don't think it was for me. I'm going to attempt to communicate with him using text. I don't know if he'll understand what I'm saying. I can only hope he gets my message in time. By the way, when we had this issue the first time, it took us about 45 minutes before we solved it, and it did require us both turning off our computers and restarting them, and sending 4 or 5 different emails, and communicating through phone, and at least 6 or 7 pieces of different. He is now biting the microphone, and if he can't talk to us, maybe he can get us to smell him. And now he's flicking it. I don't think kinetic force travels via microphone, but I'll admit I'm not a scientist. This is incredible. This is how I know you could be a world-class actor. I can really feel the frustration, and it's not forced. It's not forced at all. Oh dear. Oh dear. He has snapped. He's taking. Is it an 18 plus show if we know he's screaming fuck, but none of us can hear him? I'm unsure of the rules on the 18 plus show here. An 18 plus, there's going to be stripping. Oh, he's going to get naked for us. Oh, okay. I understand what's happening. We don't need sound for that. I'm getting facial expressions that suggest that's not the case. That this is unintentional. There's only so much dead air I can feel, Game Master J. Which, now that no one can hear you, your Game Master J seems like a hateful joke on yourself. He's attempting to shake the camera. Hopefully, this will work. Perhaps the camera will get scared and turn the microphones on. I'm unsure what he's attempting to do now. Eric, you have a child. Use your child. Children are cute. People are inherently drawn to children. Go quickly, run, get your child. That'll stave off the anger. Have him do adorable thing. I've been told children are adorable. He's now attempting to photograph something in the corner. Perhaps he's texting. Who could be texting? I have no idea. I'm told to be patient on the texting, possibly photographing situation. It's a long text. I certainly hope he uses proper grammar. Alicia, you're very, very kind. Many people have said something similar to that, typically in a negative light, like, please stop talking. What are you doing in my house? I don't like it when you say such things to me. Why are you wielding a knife while saying that? It makes everything you say have a threatening tone. Typically stuff like that, but I do appreciate you you thinking highly of my ability to talk to myself, really. My father used to beat me and then leave me alone for long periods of time. And in order to help the incredible pain I felt at all the solitude, I very quickly had to develop the ability to speak and entertain myself. And that's what we're seeing right now, human tragedy in motion. Uh, Game Master Jay, are you doing anything? There's only... No, no one can hear you. That's... Nope. Nothing. That's a Negatory, Ghost Rider. All right, we're now being patient again. I'm curious, why didn't you just send me the text? You wrote the text, and then you just showed it to the screen. My phone does work. You've called me and texted me before, surely. You could have done so then. All right, Game Master J is going to leave. He says, I can see, you don't have to point. Everyone can see, and everyone, there's no need to... Visuals are not the issue, and if they were, pointing wouldn't help. He says he's going to come back. I don't know that he is. He could just leave me here to flounder. Has he solved the problem? Look at the gears whirling in his mind. Man's a genius. It's sheer poetry attempting to watch him fix his sound issue. The world waits in anticipation as Game Master J attempts to defuse the bomb. I like fish, I think he said. He said, fuck it. I'm not partial to fish myself. As a general rule, I don't care for seafood. They're filthy creatures, animals that live in the sea. They swim in their own urine. And I don't... Oh, he's either witnessing something sad or he's deeply upset by the idea that I don't care for seafood. I am getting confirmation, ladies and gentlemen, that it is the seafood issue that's making him so sad. They're filthy creatures. I don't even know what part of the lobster you're supposed to eat if they have antenna. Nope. Hey, try biting the microphone again. Maybe that'll work. That was a foolish idea. I don't know why you would think even for a second that it would work. In space, no one can hear you scream. What about that leaving and coming back situation? That seemed like a good idea, and then we didn't do that. Then we just bit the microphone and punched some more buttons. Everyone say bye. I missed Game Master J already. It's like there's a void where he used to be. I'm curious whether he set the entire thing up so that it could leave me here to flounder in the darkness. Joke's on him, though. I love to hear myself speak. I can do it all day. All right, so while he's gone, I suppose I don't have anything to riff off of. We're attempting to play 5th edition. I'm curious how that's going to work because we've had issues with 2 of us. I can't even imagine the amount of issues we're going to have with 4. But if we can manage to get it together, we are playing a 5e game in a custom world, and we're typically going to do 2-hour sessions every week or every other week. And after I think God's speaking to me. God, is that you?
Hello?
You sound like you're underwater, but at least I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, dear God.
Shay. Wait, you can hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, I can hear you, honey.
But you can't see me.
Can you hear me? Because if you can't, I'm going to scream.
See,
What? What are you
but
saying?
you can't see me.
No.
I can hear you.
Oh, well, that's good. I'll be honest. Seeing you,
I can hear
seeing
you.
you is really the one sense I don't need.
Onomatopoeia.
I like the words you say. I don't like looking at your face, so this works out nicely. All right.
Onomatopoeia.
Please stop saying that. You sound like a robot at the bottom of the ocean, gargling nails, but I can hear you. I'm curious, because I can't see you, I can only imagine how many devices you have strapped to your body right now to allow you to speak. Is it as many as I think? I think there's about 10. You got about 4 microphones, tape recorder, a toaster, 2 sets of headphones, and a living child taped to you in order to get this to work. Is that about right? He's gone again. He's left me alone with my thoughts. I don't know why he does this to me. Yeah, so 7 to 10 games on 5th edition. Afterwards, if for whatever reason we can stomach each other that long, we're going to switch to a Call of Cthulhu game. I've only played it once and I've never DM'd it. And I don't think any of our other players have played it either. So it should be interesting. And 2-hour sessions, 7 to 10 on those, and then after that, a Savage Worlds game of some kind. He's really hot for riffs right now. He likes the horror Victorian thing. I'm more interested in the Savage World riffs stuff that has just come out recently. I said recently. I've received it recently. Or Deadlands. I tend to like fantasy westerns. But whatever the case, we shall be playing something Savage Worlds related. And then I think after that, we're all going to commit seppuku live on the internet. So that should be interesting. I think it should be worth occasionally popping in just to see that. I heard a noise. Is Game Master J back with us?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear me.
I heard a child in the background. Oh, I see you.
But can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank God.
So help me God if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I just said
Okay.
I can hear you. Okay.
Yes, but I wasn't paying attention. I can hear you, but I don't listen. Those are separate skills. Okay.
Well,
so,
see, you were making me think that we had the little reverberation echo issue like we had
yeah, there was definitely something going on.
last time.
Uh-huh.
It was like, oh, hey, Shay. And then like 15 seconds later, you're like, oh, hey, Eric. And I'm like, what the?
Okay, so I've got good news and bad news, Eric. The bad
Good
news
news.
is you
Okay.
you went off air briefly, but the good news is I don't think anyone noticed. I think we pulled it off, and we can hop right back into whatever we were talking about 25 minutes ago. But I don't think anyone noticed. I think I did a terrific job of smoothing everything out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Aisha was just like, Shay's really good at talking.
Yeah, it's to
And
combat
Philly
the
didn't.
intense loneliness, I feel.
Oh, well, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah, no. Because everyone gets one massive cock up. So we got that out of the way real early. So that's good. So now we're going to have no more problems.
All right, let me just go here, open that, create that, and there we go.
I'm
not gonna
glad
call
you
myself.
typed that because I was just about to type in a stupid name at the main title, but you're right. I'm not going to do that. Jesus, I don't remember what the hell we were talking about before. You know what's weird? Is you were gone for about 6-7 minutes before I realized you were gone, which makes me feel really ashamed. Because I was like, why is he showing me the same images over and over again? He really wants to hit home. The special abilities his bard has, everyone's had plenty of time to read them. He's really nailing this home. And I kept talking to you, not realizing you're not saying anything back. So I learned a lot about myself. It takes me about 7 or 8 minutes having a conversation with someone to realize they've left. So I don't know what to do with that information other than feel bad. But yeah, I've learned. And along with dick jokes and technical difficulties and strange art pieces, that's the kind of stuff you're going to get from No Guts, No Glory. You're going to learn about yourself. And
we're learning, all right.
That's. Mm-hmm.
We're learning that we really need an IT person.
Yeah. Or we just need to switch to some other thing, because I don't know that this whole Hangouts business is working for us.
Oh, it most certainly is not.
Most of the time I hang out with people, one of them doesn't just randomly disappear. In other news, 80 rolls.
All right, so I sent you a link to the actual YouTube video. Mm-hmm. That way you can pop out the chat and then immediately don't let the video play, or you will get sound, like you will hear everything. You know that little visual thing that was happening? Audio version of that.
All right, you sent me a link. What would you like me to do? Click
so there's like a little
immediately pop out. Why am I clicking?
Yeah, so there'll be like a little chat box to the right, and you'll see like 3 little dots. Click on the 3 little dots, and then it will ask you if you want to pop out the chat box. Click pop out the chat box.
All right, I have done so. Not only am I learning about myself, I'm learning how to use the chat box.
So you can see the live chat?
Yeah. Indeed, okay. I can, and the link.
All right, so you see like me talking to Aisha and Ignace. So you see the chat box?
I see the chat box. It's just you and me. Nobody else. It's all right.
One sec. Okay. I'll just show you.
I'm not going to see an endless stream of me, sorry, because I really, oh, God.
All right, let me see here. Happy to get my sushi from, and whoever decided that sushi should be able to be delivered is a genius.
I don't care for seafood. I don't know if you know this about me, Eric. This may be something completely new.
All right, so pause that. So you follow that link that I gave you?
Yeah.
You pause the video.
I'm my own man, Eric. I'll play the video if the damn well please, even if it does create a hideous noise in my ears. Nobody tells me what to do.
Okay, I'm just... All right, you see these 3 little dots?
Give me a second. Yes, I see those little dots.
All right, then you click the 3 little dots, pop out the chat, close out the Google window.
I have popped out the chat. Oh my goodness! Now there's stuff I can talk using, the text.
That.
Give me a second here. Gotta minimize this.
All right. So where were we? We were on.
I think we were crying uncontrollably. All right.
You got dice
80,
on your face.
Yes, I know. I thought it was cute, but now I don't like it. All right, there we go.
All right. Now you can talk to people whenever they come on and everything.
Oh God, not people.
Don't be afraid. I'm here.
Oh, all right.
I got you.
I feel like I need a cigarette after all that.
All right, so we're talking about why bards are awesome. We'll just skip that. I mean,
yeah, let's skip all of that. Actually, bards are trash. Fuck 'em. I'm gonna go kill my bard character next time I see him.
All right.
Yeah. So, 5th edition and 4th edition, we chatted a little bit about. I think that's all we can say really about that game until Robert and Chase come on and talk about their. We mentioned.
Oh yeah, we were going to move down to. Let's see here. So we're talking about why you don't like Pathfinder. I've never played Pathfinder.
All right. Pathfinder is essentially 3.5 D&D. There are a couple of differences, but in spirit, that's what it is. And it has a billion splat books, and it's not complicated to play. I'll say that. It's pretty easy. It's pretty intuitive. Once you have your character sheet, it just requires 2 or 3 minutes of explanation from somebody who's played before. You can work it. Creating a character, and for the GM, basically creating all the bad guys and basically anything that needs stats, creating them is such a pain in the ass. Because there are so many things that add pluses to this or minuses to this, and this affects this, and everything is sort of intertwined. And because there's so many numbers, it's unlike D&D where there's just like one stat that affects one thing. There are a million feats and a million racial abilities and a million spells, and they all interweave with each other. It's one of the few games that if you know it well, you can at first level just create a demigod. Like, I mean, something crazy, stupid, broken. If you're smart and know what combination of feats and abilities and skills and whatnot to take. Like I said, it's a fair amount of fun. It's basically D&D in terms of how you play it a little bit. Spiritually, it's D&D. But the creating aspect is such a pain in the ass. Like I said, I would play Pathfinder if someone else made my character and I didn't have to DM. But creating my own character is already stressful as hell. And DMing, having to create all the bad guys and work with all the stuff, it just sounds like a horrifying nightmare of epic proportion. Yeah.
So oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, so as far as games that stress me out whenever I want to make a character,
if you've left me,
Shadowrun.
I can learn to love again once. If you've abandoned me for a second time, I don't know. And then I'll
Wait,
come back.
Can you not hear me?
All right, there we go. You froze for a second, and then there was more gurgling, and I was about to just fling my laptop into the wall over there and just smash and feel good, feel no regrets. No regrets it would have been. But yeah, so that's Pathfinder in a nutshell. World of Darkness is... I have mixed feelings on World of Darkness. I like the idea of World of Darkness. It very quickly becomes edgelord. Yes, you have a question.
I, too, have also never played World of Darkness.
Okay, so the beginning book, the World of Darkness book, is you play a human, and you have discovered that there is more to reality than you thought it was. Horror-esque stuff. But then they came out with all these extra books: Werewolf, the Requiem. I think I have
Oh, that's
Vampire the
right.
Requiem, and Werewolves the Forsaken, and Mummies
Hunter
the
the Reckoning.
Hunker the Ringing, and Mummies the Itchy. Like there were a bunch of them, and you basically play with those respective books, a member of that species and whatnot. Um, Vampire the Requiem is the most popular one, I would say. And it's the one that has the ability to quickly spiral into what I like to call edgelord territory. Now, if you're unsure what an edgelord is, an edgelord is someone who wants to be cool more than anything else in the world. They want to be, it's more important than breathing, and they want to be edgy, and they wear black, and it's not just a style or something they wear. Like they each and every day, they're like, how can I be as edgy and as painfully cool as possible, even if it's ridiculous. And like Blade, with the trench coat and the katana and the wearing the sunglasses even at night, and every single piece of armor and equipment he owns has to be painted black, and he has to drive a motorcycle even if even if he's with people. Uh, Reaper from Overwatch, if anyone has played that, is an edgelord. Wears all black, has a hood on, has a skull mask, shoots black guns, has sharpened fingertips on his finger armor for some reason. It's completely, and that's what an edgelord is. And World of Darkness very quickly becomes edgelord territory if you play certain species. You're fine if you play a human for the most part, and some of the ones like werewolves or whatever. But it's built into the setting that you're dark and misunderstood, and no one could ever love you, and you're just so cool, and you've got to have the leather jackets, and oh my god, just so cool. If only people understood me. And it is. I know that seems obnoxious, but it is in a way kind of built into the rules. It definitely so for Vampire and some of the other ones. It, like I said, the World of Darkness playing, if you're playing humans, it doesn't have to be that way. And werewolves are okay a little bit, but for the most part, any of the other ones, like you can play demons and mummies and golems and things like that. And it's you're a world of darkness, and you're the most sophisticated, cool individual in the world that just nobody understands you. You've got to make them understand, but they'll never understand. And I ride a motorcycle, and it's so cool. Even when I have to give like 4 people a ride, I'm like, I'm not giving up my motorcycle because you don't understand me. I'm so cool. Why am I not wearing a shirt with my leather jacket? Because you don't understand me. And that's what World of Darkness is. And so it's a fun game to play if you're like, oh, I like being a vampire, or I like being a werewolf, whatnot. But it's so often played the way I'm sort of describing. It gets even worse if you have ever stumbled across a Vampire the Requiem LARP. Dear God, I have nothing against LARPers. I have nothing against vampires and people who love them. But I have seen a Vampire the Requiem LARP, and it. I don't go outside anymore. I don't go outside anymore because of that. Because it's just, if you're playing World of Darkness, if you're not careful, if you don't talk to your players about what to expect and stuff like that, you can very quickly get like 7 people trying to out-loader each other. Like it's, I'll go alone. You guys stay here. No, I'll go do it. You guys stay here. Quick, let's rip off our shirts. But yeah, you're right. These shirts are constraining us. We're not cool if we wear these shirts. Got it. I only wish people understood me. You stay here. I'll go alone. No, you go alone. Wait, where's my katana? Why do you have a katana with vampires? Because katanas are cool. You don't understand. And it's just that. It's just that for 2 hours every time. So if you want to do that, we could do that, I guess. I'll hate myself. But yeah, quickly, World of Darkness games can spiral into that.
I think you made your point. Oh, okay. So what I was trying to say before we went to World of Darkness was
before I just went for 20 minutes. Yeah, go ahead.
on why you hate edgelords?
Yeah, you want to know why I hate edgelords?
No. I mean, that's what you were saying was why you hate edgelords.
Yeah. But so yeah, World of Darkness is very gothic, and that makes sense. It's sort of a dark world and stuff like that. But
I was gonna say you sound like the goth kids from like South Park.
in a way, that's sort of how a lot of them are. Like I said, there are some that you don't have to play anyone like that, but the way the setting books are often set up are to give you a design. Like, I think I have, give me a second, the actual Vampire the Requiem book after this stack, because I just have stacks of shite all over my, yeah.
Nice.
To give you an example of what this book is like, it has a picture of a hand, and the hand is red, and the background is red, and there are just rose petals slowly falling. And yeah, it's got a poem on the back that is basically talking about being a vampire. If it were, I don't know, a music-based thing. It's called the Requiem because they use all these musical terms to describe being dead, even though it's completely and totally unnecessary. Like, what's being dead like? It's like a requiem in the rain and rose petals fall. And you're like, you could just stop talking. Like, if you can't give me real descriptions, don't talk. But yeah, there's like poetry written at the beginning of like every chapter, and every picture shows people clad in leather jackets, and there's just 40 or 50 pages in the beginning just talking about how sad and lonely you are in the beginning. And like I said, the Vampire one is the one that's most like that. The world as a whole tends to suffer a little bit from that, going just a touch too in okay, that's fair, Ignis, about the reworked stuff. Classic one is a little bit less like that. I'll grant you that, because they are horror aspects which everyone likes, and then there's sort of the Victorian horror has romantic aspects of it. It's not just, oh no, there's a scary monster, and it's not just, oh my gosh, does she like me? You're trying to combine those things to create this sort of romantic horror, a sense of, yeah, you're dark, but you're not irredeemable. Things that are scary can also be beautiful. And when done well, I think that's great. The problem is because it's hard to do well, and because the reworked stuff cranks everything to 11, it ends up that way. But that's fair. That is the reworked stuff. The original stuff is less like that because I have flipped through original Werewolf. I haven't flipped through any of the other classic World of Darkness stuff. But
can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Oh crap! Now I can hear myself again.
Oh, that's the worst when you can hear yourself talk. That's almost as bad as singing an infinite loop of yourself. Not quite, but close.
Sorry, I switched the microphone.
It just occurs to me that the only reason we brought these up is the guys from the other stream were talking about, oh, we might play these, and I just spent an hour, it feels like, just shitting on that. So, apologies. In hindsight, that seems kind of hateful and judgy. That's not my intention. Just like, yeah, I just sort of mentioned we were going to play it, and they just started screaming at us. I don't know what that was about. He found out where we live and then sent candygrams, but instead of candy, he just had people kick us. It's just like, I don't know what that guy's.
What's a candygram? I want one.
Candygram?
No, it was from Elf.
No one has seen that movie. I've actually seen that movie. I just didn't immediately place that. I thought they didn't understand what a candygram was for a second. And I was like, well, it's the person who gives you candy? I mean, shit. There's not much to it.
All right, so World of Darkness, new one, not as good as old one. Gotcha. That's kind of what I got out of this discussion was that you just really dislike the new one.
You say you can hear yourself twice. I can now hear you sort of twice. It sounds like you're gurgling nails.
But you can hear me twice?
It sort of feels like there's some reverb in your voice.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you don't have to get right up on top of it. I can hear you. I said I could hear you. There was never an issue of me not hearing you. It was you sounded gurgly. You sound
Okay,
fine now.
Oh, okay.
Good enough. I don't care anymore.
Wait, does it sound bad?
I wouldn't say it's the worst thing I've ever heard. So there's that.
We should change the name to The Better Late Than Never and hope you don't care about how the sound is streamed.
I can now no longer understand you. I thought I was fine with it. I thought we were done with audio issues. I'm trying to ignore the problem, hoping it goes away, but it's atrocious.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear that you're saying words. Trying to make out those words. Oh, dear God.
All right, how about now?
You're on Apple?
No, I mean, how about now? Does it sound better?
Considering the fact that I thought you were trying to give me an apple, I think that should answer your question. Keep talking.
Okay, so onomatopoeia. That was my test word.
Hey, I got an idea. Hey, remember when no one could hear you speak? And you were just emoting? Let's go back to that. That was great, wasn't it?
All right, let me do this. Fuck. All right, how's that?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not at all horrible.
How's that?
Keep talking.
Can you hear me now? And
Yeah, that's
loud
better.
and clear?
Yeah, you're clear. You're a little quieter, but that's much better than the hideous caterwauling that you were doing before.
Okay, so that means I have to hear myself.
Oh, that's the worst. If it makes you feel any better. 31 D10s. I know that always makes you happy. All right. So we've talked about World of Darkness, D&D, Pathfinder. Did we lose all audio with you? Because it feels like we lost all audio with you. We have lost all audio with you.
All right,
This
can you
is
hear
the
me
best
now?
day ever. Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay.
How about?
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Don't touch anything. Stop. Just immediately. Don't breathe even.
No. I got it to where I can speak through this microphone right here, but now I don't hear myself. So
Okay, but I don't care what problems you have. From now on, don't touch anything.
got it.
I'm serious. Because every time you fix a problem, you create a new one, and then you have to undo that problem. So never do that ever again.
All right. So what I was gonna say was one, we should change the name of the stream to I hope you don't care about your ears, and I hope that you don't care that we're always late stream, because that's kind of what we have going on right now.
It's a little lengthy, but I feel like it it really lays it out there. It really gives you
I mean, it's just like upfront.
Yeah,
it's like a disclaimer.
Yeah, people appreciate that.
It's its own disclaimer right there. Like, I hope you don't care about your ears, and we're never going to be on time. Yeah. Or it should be the we need an IT guy stream, because that would also be accurate.
Maybe what we should do is also add some like things we're good at, because they read that and they're like, I don't know that I want to do it. But we should put, but we're not racist. Like, just at the bottom, like, so like there's, anyone can listen to us have technical difficulties. We do not judge. We put that, or or we could put, we're. Are you playing a guitar right now?
Oh,
Or
well, you were
taking-
saying what we're good at, so I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm good at guitar.
Yeah, that's true. We'll say we'll do a little bit of striptease at the end for anyone who can stomach it. Just little things to keep people interested. That's what I think. Put all the bad stuff, but also put some of our strengths up front.
You're right. We probably shouldn't play that song. We'll owe Ozzy Osbourne money that he's going to have to pay Sharon for.
Yeah. Sharon, you have to see this terrible Google Hangouts. It's two lads having technical difficulties. What a bunch of cunts. That's. And the boy with glasses keeps disappearing. Where does he go? I don't know.
We can't hear him.
Yeah, that is a spot on Ozzy Osbourne impersonation. That's right. Yeah, we're also wanting to play Savage Worlds at some point in time.
All right, which I was really excited to get into because I want to do something really, really special.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready, Shay? It's on. Because I'm about to blow your pants off.
Yeah, of course they're on. I wouldn't do this pantsless. Yeah, they're on.
Oh, okay. The Deadlands game. That way you can be your Harrowed.
Yeah, I do like being that abomination.
And I'm going to be running the Rippers game. But one sec.
There's more.
Sorry, I had to burp.
Nobody noticed.
Burp of.
It's good. It's good. Nobody noticed. Smooth and deadly.
It was a burp of suspense. Anyways, can you feel it? Can you feel the anticipation?
Yeah, sort of. It's like a burning sensation.
We're combining both. I'm combining both games together.
You want to Rippers Deadlands?
No. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to run either the Deadlands or the Rippers game first, probably the Deadlands one. And then we're going to run the Rippers game. But, and I looked it up, they both take place at the same time era. So, what's going to happen is eventually both of your guys' characters that you guys run will like meet together for a big final, like really awesome battle. That's going to incorporate both of your characters.
I think doesn't Rippers take place in England or the UK at least, or something like that? I haven't flipped any of their stuff.
European takes place all across the world, but at same time era, 1870s and up, like Deadlands.
Yeah, I was thinking we could have a meeting across the pond, because Deadlands takes place almost exclusively in North America.
Yeah, you guys will be going to America.
Should be interesting.
And now you will know when that's about to happen, when the crossover event happens.
The crossover event. Wow, this is exciting.
Oh yeah,
I'm so happy I'm a part of this.
Just like DC television, okay? We have crossover events.
Yeah, we're basically the DC television universe. I mean, basically. I mean, we're practically it.
Well,
if you were to turn on an episode of Supergirl or watch us, you would be hard pressed to know which was which.
Well, see, what I want to do is, so for the D&D game that I'm running, that I'm about to just pretty much end because I'm tired of it, is I wanted to make a game where it was like a Faerun for the first part, and then it was going to go into a Dark Sun campaign. However, with the people that I play with that are a part of my game,
yeah,
it's just not going to happen. Like,
Yep.
I can already tell, like, this really awesome, like, crossover of, like, Dark Sun, Faerun. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, we got to do it with Savage Worlds. And it should work out.
So to be clear, Faerun and Savage Worlds, or just that you're combining
Rippers.
two things?
Rippers and Deadlands, not
All right.
D&D
So the
and
comparison
Worlds.
is we're combining two things. All right.
Yeah.
That's basically the same.
that are basically the same, but they're like two different types of games within the same universe. Like
Yeah.
Dark Sun is a low magic world of Dungeons and Dragons, whereas
Yeah, I've always been interested in Dark Sun stuff. I've never played a Dark Sun game, but
I really wanted to. Like, it was going to be so much fun.
right, you touch yourself at night, so you don't get to have good things.
No, it's called I got players that want to break things like the game.
I want to break something beautiful. Yeah, quoted Elf and Fight Club. Because we get around.
They modified Memoried, the big bad guy of a session.
Uh-huh. Tell me all about it. What did they do, honey? Talk to Gray.
Where did they touch me?
Yeah, they modified
They
the memory of the bad guys?
touched me down there.
Oh.
They touched me
okay.
down there, Shay. They touched me in my no-no zone.
Oh, that's...
And it made me sad.
Yeah, no, that would. Yeah, that's a terrible thing to happen to a human being. That's... You are justified in feeling sad. That's horrible. Even joking about it, I'm fairly certain we're going to hell for it.
Pretty sure we've already established we're both going to hell like a long time ago.
I'm going to ring them. Yeah, so Savage World games, I really like. I like how sort of, what they call it something. I think they call it like Fast and Furious combat or something like that. That just you got to pay attention. You got to get behind cover because you get your face blown off if you don't. And some of the tougher characters are just tough enough that you feel badass, but combat is always threatening, and it doesn't feel like it takes forever. Which I like those aspects of it.
Are you talking about Savage Worlds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I actually really like the combat system. I mean, it does feel a lot faster. I mean, whenever we ran that game, whenever I came back home. What?
For those of you that don't know, we briefly played a one-shot in Deadlands because we don't often get to see each other face-to-face. And so when we do, we like to get together with a friend of ours, drink, and play games if we can. So we decided to do a one-shot of Deadlands, and I played a Harrowed, which for those of you who don't know, may not know, are undead within the Deadlands universe that have demons, essentially, that live in their head, and every night they have to make a roll to make sure they stay in control. And if they lose it, the demon gets to run wild. And if you're playing sort of a long-term campaign, the DM will typically take over the demon and have it do stuff in the background. That way it's not incredibly disruptive. The instant it happens, because it will happen if you play more than a single session, and sometimes even in a single session. So I lost my role, and the demon took over. And so he's like, we're just doing a one-shot, so go ahead, you take control. Well, I had built my undead up, and he's big and beefy, and he had a axe of some kind or a tomahawk, and I was worried that I was going to outright kill him if I attempted to attack him. So I thought a good way to stay within the character would be to push him into our fire, our little campfire that we had set up. It would do damage, it would be scary, it would be evil, but I didn't think it would do, let's just say, he went up like a Roman candle. I pushed him in, and you make a roll, your damage roll, but if you roll max on a die in the Savage World system, it explodes, and you get to re-roll. And so he rolled a 10, which is what the fire cost, Bye, Alicia. And he kept rolling, and it kept rolling a 10, and it kept rolling a 10, and it kept rolling a 10. And so by the time he was done, my little push that should have just singed his clothes disintegrated him. He screamed in agony. It was horrible. He went up so fast. It was like he was made out of kerosene. And I felt bad about it afterwards. I was like, well, this is a way I can hurt the character, but not actually hurt him and still have my cake and eat it too. And that didn't work out. He died. He died horribly. I watched him burn alive in front of me.
Yeah, well, we rolled the damage, and that dice just kept exploding.
Just kept going and going and going.
So later on, I was actually reading the Savage Worlds book, and so they had me DM the game, and I've never DM'd a Savage Worlds game, so all I knew was, oh, dice explode whenever you rolled them, and you roll the highest number. So I was like, oh, okay, so I guess there's no limit to that? So I rolled it, and it exploded. And then I rolled it again, and it exploded. And then I rolled it one more time, and it exploded. So then I had to roll it again. And I was like, yeah, my character's, he explodes like the dice. He just kept going and going. It was really sad.
Yeah, so funny, but also sad. It was a hilarious, somber occasion.
Oh, yeah. Then what happened to your guy after that?
Afterwards, since our compatriot had just witnessed the violent, fiery death of his friend, he turned on me, naturally, and attempted to shoot me to death. And I hacked him up pretty good before he managed to finally put me down. So it ended with one of us dying via exploding fiery pain. One of us got shot in the face, and the other was bleeding from just about every single orifice he had. And he just walked off into the darkness. And that's how our story ended, with just a lone, bleeding survivor walking off into the darkness.
Oh, wait. No, what had happened was we went to a place to rescue it from a Wendigo, and they used me as bait because the other guy was playing a sharpshooter, show her away so she could, stay safe and get a good shot. He smelled like shit because he was a Harrowed. And they were like, well, who doesn't smell like shit and who could be close to the creature? And hello.
Yeah.
So not only did I survive a Wendigo, barely.
In the most dangerous.
I was.
Yeah, you were a hero prior to my murdering you. Yeah, we defeated the monster. The village was safe. We were big damn heroes. And then I was like, well, time for my nightly don't let the demon take hold of my body roll. Failed that, then was like, you know what? You need some fire. And then he died. He was like, you know what? You need sharpshooter and axe to your chest. And it was like, no, I don't want to do that. It shot me in the head, but I'd already injured him pretty badly. So it just limped off into the darkness, and that's how our one shot ended. And that's the sort of stuff that can happen in Savage Worlds. It's a brutal world.
But now we know that dice don't just keep on exploding.
They explode to a maximum.
There's an eventual limit.
Yeah, but that limit is your death. FYI.
Which, yeah, either way, I would have died because I only had one wound left.
Yeah,
and then with the alone being set on fire was enough to get me down to incapacitated, but it was the amount of exploding dice that was just like, no, you're dying. This is how you die. You don't get a hero's end. You just die.
You just fell into our campfire, and for some reason didn't roll out. You panicked when the fire hit you, and you're like, I'm on fire! Ah! And probably should have just...
No, the reason why I couldn't roll out was because I died the moment I touched fire, because that's how badly wounded I was. But yeah, that's some of the amazing bullshit that can happen here. Is maybe one of these guys will push somebody into a fire and they explode in a fiery blaze,
Yep.
or eat
Yeah.
and survive the creature, but then don't survive anything else.
Yep. A lonesome bleeding hero drifting off into the dark. That's how all our games are gonna end. Yeah, we've talked about just about every single game that we plan on playing, as well as a couple some other people. I think that's about it.
Ooh, Cthulhu.
Oh shit! I did forget Cthulhu. That's true.
Oh, don't forget Cthulhu, man. That's how you end up having nightmares.
Call of Cthulhu. What edition? 6th edition? We'll play.
It'll be the latest one, 7.
7th edition. We're playing 7th edition Cthulhu.
Yes.
You have one of the best ideas, I think, for a Cthulhu game. So talk about that. I'm really excited for it.
So whoever's a member of the stream, you've already heard the idea. I know Aisha has, so she can, by the time that you get to this part of the video, whenever you listen to it again.
Yeah, Aisha.
I know.
You get to this. Fuck off. Like, what are you doing here? That's yeah.
Like, she already knows because she commented on the post whenever I came up with the idea. But so what I'm gonna do is it's gonna be a. There's 2 stories that I really like that I think have some possibilities.
Yep.
The Dyatlov Pass story with it was like 7 or 8 experienced mountain climbers in Russia went missing back in the 60s, I think. And so they sent a search party to go find them, and what they found was like this really gruesome sight. So really experienced mountain climbers, nothing bad should have happened to them. One of them was like about to get a certificate saying that he's the best freaking, mountain climber there is.
In the world.
But so they go because they're trying to get to this peak of a mountain. And after like 10 days, the people that they told, hey, we're going to send you a message, a telegram saying, that we're on our way back home or whatever. And after 10 days, they never got that telegram. So they sent a search party. And what they found was this tent on the side of a mountain. And it was torn from the inside. And they followed bare footprints, not like padded shoes or anything, actual bare footprints. And like majority of people's clothes. Like these people literally ran out of their tent completely naked with no shoes and like negative like 30 or 40 degree weather. And so after some searching, they find some guys, and it looks like they died pretty, normally, as you would expect, like hypothermia. One of them had like fallen and hit his head, so he had some trauma there and stuff like that. It wasn't until they found like a few more of the bodies that they made like an even worse discovery. One girl, her tongue looked like it had been ripped out. Guy, he had his
computer must have frozen.
Where did I leave off at?
When they found the mysterious death bodies.
Oh. Did you hear the tongue ripping out part?
No one heard that, but that's interesting.
Okay. Then we'll start there. So they found
he always
a woman.
loves to tell a good tongue ripping story. It's his favorite.
So they found one of the women's bodies. She looked like she had her tongue ripped out. And burp of suspense. One of the other guys, that's what I'm going to call them.
Yeah,
they're suspense burps. One of the other guys, it looked like he had his like a brain hemorrhage but there was no like fracture to his skull. There was no like external force. It looked like it had happened from like within his brain. And it was just a whole mess of like these like really odd phenomenons that had killed these people. And to this day, I mean, since it's Russia, we still don't know what happened exactly to these people. There's like theories that it was like alien attack. There was like a military base. They said that was nearby the mountain, and they said like maybe some sort of like experimental weaponry killed them. One of the theories was like a horrible avalanche, but whenever they went and tested it, they were like, no avalanche has happened here, like recently at all. So it was just really, really odd. And then there's the Donner Party, which for anybody who knows American history, as far as like the pioneer age, a group of people tried to go through the Colorado Rocky Mountains, and they left at a bad time, got caught up in some weather, and eventually they had to resort to cannibalism. And well, really, that's about it as far as that story goes. Nothing too crazy. It's just our travel plan.
Just they went mad and had to eat other human beings to survive. You know that old chestnut. But yes.
Oh, I mean, it's nothing like.
They're very, very similar stories, as you've noticed. Just one is American, one is Russian. People go into mountains, different time periods, obviously. But go into the mountains, some stuff happens. They have to eat people. But they're both famous stories. And so it's basically just, do I want to start a game a little bit earlier or more so in the 60s? Once again, you're on a mountain, so it's not going to matter a whole lot. It's not going to be like a whole bunch of 60s references while we're up here on the fucking godforsaken mountain. But,
we're doing classic Cthulhu. We're doing 1920s.
What's that?
I said we're doing 1920s.
1920s?
Yep.
Yes.
Another burp of suspense.
Right.
But yeah, it's going to be 1920s. You guys in Colorado. He's already made his character. He's going to be a private investigator.
Yes.
And then the other two, they've never played, and I'll have to get with them for making their characters.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be interesting because I'm not using.
Excited about that.
I'm actually not going to use any creatures.
Dealing with any of that, because I like cannibalism stories. To be honest, I think they're kind of mysterious, and I think they fit in very naturally with Cthulhu. Like to take a thing that really happened that sort of got an air of mystery about it and is horrifying, and to put a ye elder gods twist on it, I think is quite good. So I'm looking forward to that a lot.
I'm also not going to be using any actual creatures. Oh, right now, as far as my idea is, I'm not going to use any actual creatures from the book. I'm going to create my own actual Cthulhu mythos, like horrifying beings.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully some of these guys go crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like going crazy just as much as the next guy. All right.
It'll be fun. Seeing Shay go crazy. So that's one thing I don't like about Call of Cthulhu is like their madness table.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem madnessy to me. Like you can get like so you have like amnesia that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have bouts of like rage that happens, which
Mm-hmm.
those are two ones that sound fun to have somebody role play. But then there's like some other ones, and it's like psychosomatic. You lose sensation in your leg.
Mm-hmm.
Or one sec. I will be right back. Riff, my friend. Riff.
I do believe Eric is going to get the Big Book O Madness. What happens when you I think it's in 7th edition because, like I said, I've only played it once. So I think it was 6 when I played it. Whenever you take suddenly hits to your sanity, you roll on the table and it determines what sort of madness affects you. And I believe he's gone to get the big book of madness. Is that what you really got?
I was going to, but it appears that my son is asleep, so I don't want to open up the door to go by his room and wake him up, because then my wife will get mad.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Happy wife, happy life.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, that's a couple things we got going on. You already mentioned Rifts, right?
I have mentioned that I would like to play Rifts. It's a Savage Worlds game. Apocalypse-esque incident happened many, many years ago. No one knows exactly when. And it created these ley lines, these sort of lines you can see on a map and even see in reality, that have this incredible amount of energy running through them. And when they intersect, they create rifts, these portals to other time periods or other dimensions or other planets and things of that nature. And because of that, any and all things come through and affect the world. And so there are a couple of setting-specific stuff on Earth 1, or Earth Prime, for lack of a better word, the world where all the rifts open up. There are things like Confederation State, which are basically Nazis. They don't like anything that isn't human, and they hate magic, and they use tech to kill it. There's Federation of Magic, people who do like magic and want to keep it. And then there's Legion of Tomorrow, people who accept any and all people and attempt to make the world a better place for everyone. And those are sort of specific to the main world, essentially. But any and all things can come from the rift. So you can have demons come in, or intelligent giraffes from a planet where giraffes rule the world, or
I want to play that.
Lord of the Ring-esque fantasy worlds that come through. So you can have elves and goblins and orcs and whatnot, and dwarves come through. And into this world, you can have futuristic worlds come in, and it all sort of comes together. So it was Rifts was originally created for Palladium Games, and it was intended so that you could play any type of game you wanted. If you wanted to play a fantasy game, a horror game, a science fiction game, a romance game, a late night comedy, whatever you're into, you could theoretically play it. However, I hate the Palladium system with a fiery passion. I think it's ridiculously overcomplicated. And there are many things about its rules that I don't care for. So when they made a Savage Worlds version of it, I got really excited because I really like the Rifts setting, for lack of a better word. Because in a way, it's sort of all settings. There's some stuff that are specific to Rifts, but like the Coalition States. And I'm really excited for it, to play it. And so that's something I would be interested in.
What other games do you think you want to run?
Games I'd like to run. I wouldn't mind running something fate-based, like the Dresden Files. I think it is an interesting one. I really like the book series, and I really like the game, essentially. I haven't had a chance to play it, but God knows I've read your eyebrows are incredibly distracting. But arousing. So that would be something I would be interested in playing. A game that is sort of based in the same system that Worlds of Darkness, the revised edition, is, called Scion, which is about demigods. They're about to re-release a version of it with sort of updated rules, because before it could get a little broken. You start off as a hero, then you become a demigod, then you become a god in Scion. And so yeah, at the top layer, you play a full-fledged god. Yeah, look at that. A titan of muscle. Look at him. All that is man. He is Roy G. Biv.
Look at that man hair.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to be a god.
Mhm.
Let me be a god.
You're practically on, man. Look at you hunting me. Anyway, so Scion, but the rules were kind of squiffy on Scion, but I really want to play it. But they're going to relatively soon be coming out with a new Scion game with updated rules that don't make it quite so broken. And when that happens, I'd be interested in playing that. The Demon Hunters RPG is another one I wouldn't mind playing.
Demon Hunter?
Yes. It's sort of a comedy horror, for lack of a better phrase. You play a demon hunter. You work for the organization of light or something. I don't remember what it's called. And you fight all sorts of bad guys. It's a world in which every myth is true. All the gods are true. All the monsters are true. Everything is true. And so your job as a demon hunter is to hunt down the bad guys and kill them dead. It's a pretty simple system. Uh, but I like it, and I'd be interested in playing that as well. Uh, I like the idea possibly of playing Monster of the Week, which, like it sounds, you could have sort of a supernatural-esque game. Just we're all monster hunters, and then we play sort of episodic sessions where we defeat the monster of the week, as it were. And that's a pretty simple game as well. Not a whole lot of rules. But you'd be a ninja or a demon or an angel or a regular person in that game. And yeah, you just hunt down the monster. They have like specific weaknesses, and you got to do the research to find the weaknesses and whatnot. It can be kind of fun. Those are all sorts of things that I'm interested in.
What about Shadowrun?
I knew you were going to say Shadowrun. I love Shadowrun to death. I love playing Shadowrun. Oh, you're really laying it on thick. I love Shadowrun immensely. It is a bit of a pain. I'll have to look through 5th edition because I've heard that it's a little more streamlined in terms of combat.
I have heard that because I've been watching a little bit of a Shadowrun stream because I wanted to see.
Yeah, so I love Shadowrun immensely. I love the setting. As complicated as it is, I don't even mind character creation, although it can be a bit meaty. Yeah, but to GM it, I'd have to really, really get back into it for through all the shit. Because it's not a game you can wing. There are certain games you can kind of wing, and you can sort of leave open-ended and stuff like that. You can't really do that in Shadowrun. You got to have everything nailed down. Exactly what you want to happen. Exactly the stats of your bad guys.
I don't think you understand. I wing everything.
I know you do, and I don't mind. To be honest, when I was GMing our game, I after I think the first or second session, stopped giving monsters hit points, and just we would do combat. And then when I had decided you had enough, I'd be like, all right, now the monster dies, because there were 3 or 4 of you, and all of you chose as damaging characters as you could possibly have, but none of you had any survivor ability, and there were no healing spells whatsoever. So trying to find monsters and traps and things that were challenging but not murdery were almost impossible, because anything that could deal with the sheer amount of damage you put out would straight murder you. This is 4th edition. And anything that wouldn't straight murder you, you would straight murder it. And so I'd be like, all right, this guy won't be too powerful. Let's go. And then you'd be like, we kill him! We all murder him real quick. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck this guy. Then he was going to be my main villain, but you just fucking cut his head off, cut his limbs off, take him to the heart, set him on fire, throw him into a dungeon. And then other times, I would set you up against monsters, and I would quickly realize, oh, I've made this monster way too powerful. You're not going to survive. And so I just stopped. Like, after the 2nd or 3rd session, giving the hit points, I would just do as much damage as I felt was scary, and I would have it take as much damage as I felt was going to make it like a challenge. and then it would just drop dead regardless of how many hit points it would normally have. Yeah.
Okay, I got two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, so one of the creatures that he's talking about. So Shay lets us do shock damage, which is where if you
One computer frozen.
drop it.
So the last thing I heard was you say the word one. So try again.
Oh, okay. So
Take
two
two.
things. So one of the things that Shay let us do as players was shock damage, which is where if you deal more than
Half
half the damage of if you take half of a creature's health or more,
in a
it would
single
instantly
round.
die.
You had to do it in a single round. If you could deal half of its life points or more, and the reason I did it was because if you could take half of the creature's health in one single round, then there was no point in really doing anything because it might take you 2 rounds if I tried really hard to keep it alive and stuff like that. But it was a way to make you feel badass. It didn't work on all things. It wouldn't work on golems or undead or things of that nature typically. But anything that could be shocked at the sheer amount of damage it was taking would die. And so shock damage.
So what we did was we were put on a mission to go kill a vampire lord.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this was after I burned down a third of a city, which is a story for another time. We're probably just going to do story time every so often, and we will discuss the horrible things that we have done as characters. So what our mission was, go kill a vampire lord. So we go to the outskirts of the city and we find a manor, and we're like, I think this is it. So we open up the door, or no, we knocked on the door, and a guy greets us. He was like, a very pale looking man answers the door and says, I see you have found me, or something like that. And we're using our daily powers because this is 4th edition. So we're me, Andrew, and his character, we're all just dailies. And then we rolled, and we all did insane amounts of damage and shock damaged the crap out of a vampire lord. And he was just I could see the just sadness in this man's face.
Mm-hmm. The thing, you might be curious, anyone who's watching this, I thought you said undead don't receive shock damage. That depends on if you're using damage types that specifically, radiant damage, is sort of a holy light damage source. If you were to do something like that, something that a creature is inherently weak to, I would allow it. You can, if you're using a blessed stake made out of silver and sunlight, you stab a vampire in the heart. That would work because that's just as brutal as cutting off a regular person's head. So I allowed the shock damage because they all had choices of what type of energy they were using to power their weapons, or at least several of them did. And so most of them did radiant or holy damage. I should also like to point out that I did not definitively say they were looking for a vampire lord. I had recently saw Dracula, not for the first time, I'd rewatched it, the old one. And I thought it would be kind of fun if I just ripped off that. They're not going to give a shit. And so I made an enemy that was very obviously the bad guy, but none of them as characters knew that. He was kind of shady, and there was a mansion, and I made him kind of look like Count Dracula a little bit. But once again, nothing had been proven. They were just people that had gone missing, and then whispers of maybe they were taken by the mansion and stuff like that. And so I was going to expect them to enter and sort of either prove it, or they were going to break in and try to find the evidence that way. There were a number of ways they could have done it. They decided to just walk in, knock on the door and walk in. So I thought it would be fun if I stole the opening scene with Dracula in it in the original black and white Universal film. It was good evening, and then you hear the wolves growl, and the children of the night, blah, 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 blah. And because I thought it would be fun. I knew it was obvious and it was not creative on my part, but I thought it would be fun. Once again, they do not know that this person is a bad guy. I have sort of, as players, have sort of hinted that this is a bad guy. But as characters, they have no reason to think this man is even remotely bad. And as soon as they open, I think he says, "Goody," and then they were like, "We pop every single power we can theoretically use on this asshole. Like we go as damagey as we possibly can. We'll pop every daily, reroll anything we can reroll. We'll spend it with just everything. 100% maximum aggression from the second we enter." And because they were doing things like radiant damage, they were doing even more damage than usual, and because they were spending their most brutal attacks, and because every single one of them had min-maxed their characters to be as damagey as possible. Once again, they didn't have a lot of survivability, no healing whatsoever, just as much damage as they could. Between all those things, they took like 51% of his health in a turn. And I just didn't fucking care anymore. I was just like, fuck, he does. Like, he goes into smoke. And I was so broken inside because I had like traps built up and it was going to be all cool and I had lots of stuff built up. Like, I didn't mind if I killed him. It's just, he said good evening, and then they were like, "Murder him! He's a member of the Undead, kill him!" And I was just so hurt.
So we had mentioned after that. So we had mentioned after that, we're like, what you should have done was been like, well, you killed the butler. Now you have to go find the actual vampire lord. Which I was just like, man, if that was the butler, that was just the worst guy's day. And if you had even been like, oh, that was also his first day on the job, and the first thing that happens to him is, oh, hello, adventurers, and there's 15 arrows in my chest, and I just got blasted by a sorcerer. So, yay me.
Yeah, as the GM, there were a number of things I could have done to avoid it using GM power, but it just broke my spirit a little bit. So I spent so much time making a cool vampire, and they murdered him, and I was like, I don't care anymore. Like and after that, I stopped playing really so close to the rules. After that point, I just whatever the hell I want. It has as many hit points as I feel is necessary, and that's how I did it.
And then the last game that we played, fuck you, when your abyssal undead whatever beholder that we had fought.
I forgot about that.
A dragon had to rescue us. A dragon that we had met had to go down into the Underdark, find us, and rescue us from a beholder.
The thing he keeps skipping over is a outsider beholder. It was this big abomination from reality that should not be beholder-looking thing. Is what I like to do is even at level 1 or level 2 set up big, exciting adventures because you see in movies and in books like it's not like the hero walks up to the bad guy and the bad guy is a small, weak man with one eye and a bad cough. It's always like a powerful sorcerer. And nobody's like, well, I can't defeat the bad guy because I'm level 1. So I like to do big adventures, regardless of level. And I thought I had set up a bunch of clever ways so that they could see and kind of fight scary things while staying alive. And one of them was to set up very obvious threats, like this thing is going to kill you. I'll give it a lot of bluster, and while it's pontificating and roaring up, you get a couple attacks in to realize it's not doing anything. It maybe gets your attack once or twice, and then, oh, this is more than we can handle. Let's get out. And so that lets me introduce scary things in a way and make things feel very epic and powerful without murdering them. The problem is they could never take the hint. They would use everything in their power, and I'm like, it doesn't appear that the monster is in any way, shape, or form affected. I'm like, well, I guess we're not using enough excessive force. And You don't have to hit it hard.
Magikarp Splash was ineffective.
But they couldn't. And so anytime I would attempt to do that, like, we're going to take on this abomination if we have to use our hands to compete, even if it kills us, we'll just come back and punch it. Like, they could not take the hint. So when they did things like that, I would have entities come and save their asses, because a more cruel DM would just have killed them outright for being stupid. But I didn't want to do that. I needed them I was hoping they would take a hint eventually. If I could do it enough times, they'd be like, oh, we can't kill a thing. They never did. And so the very last time we played, I was like, I set up this huge monster fight, and I set up a number of ways they could kill it using the environment, essentially, like explosives and knocking stalactites down and being able to talk to this group of dwarves to get them to help with an army. And I gave them many open ends. That way they could take on something way more badass than them and have reason to do it. Not just, oh, this eldritch god only has 4 hit points because that's all he can do. I didn't want it to be like that. So I gave them all these options to take, and I thought I was pretty honest about it. They ignored every single one of them, charged directly into combat, and proceeded to start hitting it with their swords. And round after round, I explained that it was doing nothing, and then I just started blasting them. I was like, I'm not holding back anymore, and tried to get each one of them down as low as I could without them dying. And they still wouldn't take it. It would have been a complete party wipe had I allowed them to do so. And once again, I should have let them die. But I'm soft-hearted. It doesn't seem like it, but deep down inside, I'm kind of a soft-hearted person. And I didn't want them to all get murdered. So they had spoken to a dragon earlier, a friendly dragon, that they needed something from his library. And so I just had him show up and fucking do the Eagles from Lord of the Rings, just like, and away. And the last game we played, 4th edition. And yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to DM D&D with Eric ever again. Now that I think about it, because you can't be trusted.
You know what? We need to write that down on the next thing to discuss, along with D&D bullshit that we've done. We need to discuss why didn't they just take the Eagles to Mordor? Like, we need to discuss that.
We really
okay.
It's disgusting. All right. I hate to have to leave you, but unfortunately, I have run out of time.
Okay, yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I've only got a few more minutes before I got to skedaddle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the GM discussion.
If you can call anything that happened really a discussion, it was just a series of technical
unfortunate
issues.
events.
Yeah, really. Even when things were working, you could argue that everything we said was, in a way, an unfortunate event. Yeah.
It was. Oh, yay, the sound's gone. Oh, wait, it's back. Oh, it's gone again. Now he sounds like he's coming from the grave.
So anytime we do this from now on, I'm just going to have a book, I think, over here. I don't know. Maybe American Gods. And anytime that happens that you freak out, I'm just going to open it up and start reading American Gods from the beginning. That's what I'm just going to do, I think. No,
I would be okay with that. That's a good book.
Yeah, it's a very good book.
I think that's that's the second video that we've done together, and in both videos we have mentioned how great American Gods is.
Yeah. That's cool.
So yeah, wrapping it up. We've mentioned the games that we have coming up. Once more, I would like to add when we get to Ripper's Deadlands, we would love for you guys to send in any wild ideas. I mean, with Deadlands and Ghost Rock inventions, they may or may not, depending on who decides to play what, have a mad scientist, and then you guys can give that mad scientist ideas, or they may have like somebody who's just really creative, like a tinker or something, that can come up with different things that they can use Ghost Rock for.
Tell them why Robert isn't with us. Like he's got basic training or something like that.
Yeah, he's away on a business trip, a very fun one in California.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, what's that?
It's
Okay.
It's a business trip.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chase
still has internet issues.
he still has internet issues, but hopefully either by Sunday or later on, that should be back up.
The only reason I bring it up is if anyone is curious as to why these two same assholes just keep going on and talking about things they're going to do and never do. It's because our other players are busy. They are doing things and unfortunately cannot be with us at the time being. But we promise they're real. We didn't make them up. We promise.
They're real.
Totally,
they're not imaginary friends. I promise.
They're totally, yeah. We're trustworthy. If anything, we're trustworthy. You can take that to the bank. Yeah, that's the look of the most trustworthy man I've ever seen before.
Do I look like I would lie to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
That hurt my eyes.
I hope that is the thumbnail. So yeah, they are real. They're not imaginary. It's not like the girlfriend I had when in third grade. Yeah, it's the real people.
It's not like the friends I had in third grade.
Ooh, wow. Things are getting deep. Things are getting painful.
I had no friends.
All right. So yeah, eventually, surely, you will see one or both of them prior to our gaming for the first time. And so that will be exciting when we finally can get them on.
There will possibly be another member joining us, mainly because he just needs to learn because he's very new to role playing, and I think that we can help him out. He'll just need to be some.
We'll make sure he never gets into it. Smart. Right. Yeah. That's about it. I think. Unless you have any last words, anything to add?
Yeah. One last thing.
Yeah.
I'm like a troll doll.
You're getting distracted by your own beautifully coiffed hair.
Also, same thing. Probably Deadlands and then Rippers, I think, is how it's going to go until Shay feels he's ready. Then probably in between Deadlands and Rippers is when we'll do a game. But right now it's going to be D&D, Deadlands, Rippers, and then hopefully we get to move on to Shay running a game. Once more with Rippers, really what I would like to see if people want to participate is name like your own like Rippers. Oh, what do they call them? I'll get back to that. What they call their like guilds, I guess you would call them for each country, and then just like make some characters up if you would like, and we'll be like, name them after yourself, give them like a personality or whatever, and we'll put them in the game.
We'll use them.
Do what?
We'll use them nice.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and for Dungeons and Dragons, we did a video on what that's going to be like, and we have mentioned that there's no lore. So if you would like to write some lore, that would be cool too.
Because it's a complete custom world he's making up, so there's a lot of gaps in the lore. So if you'd like to add countries or organizations or people's lore, yeah, I think that would be appreciated.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. But other than that, yeah, I'd say we're done.
Another successful video. Oh, thank God nothing went wrong during that. Thank God it was all smooth sailing.
There it goes.
Yeah. All right.
So apparently I have to set up the sound like 4 seconds before something happens for the sound effects to work.
All right, good.
Thank you for joining us, all of you who are watching, and have a good night. And Shay, anything you'd like to add?
Bye, everybody.